evening, everyone. We're going to get started. Welcome to the September Hoboken Board of Education meeting. Ms. Good, can you please read the statement of compliance?
Yes. This meeting is being held in conformity to the Open Publics Meeting Act, NJSA 10:4-6. Proper public notice of the meeting was published in the local papers on January 7, 2023, which was the annual notice. If any board member or member of the public in attendance believes that the meeting is in violation of the Open Publics Meeting Act, the Hoboken Board of Education requests that they make a statement at this time. The board wishes to make those in attendance aware that this meeting is being recorded on video and will be broadcast by the board at a later date on CATV Channel 77 and FiOS Channel 46. The full meeting recording will also be made available on board docs, which can be accessed through the district homepage. The Hoboken Board of Education is committed to preserving the decorum of the public process and is mindful that we live in the electronic age of computers, cell phones, and other electronic communication devices. Nevertheless, we respectfully request that all meeting participants kindly silence their electronic devices during the course of the meeting, and if use of the device is necessary, we ask that you please leave the meeting room if you need to conduct personal business.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we take the roll call, please?
Ms. Catamatori.
Here.
Mr. Delator.
Here.
Mr. Grana. Ms. Kana.
Here.
Mr. Klupfel.
Here.
Ms. McGurk.
Here.
Ms. Norwood.
Here.
Ms. Zakarian. Ms. Angley. You have a quorum.
Okay, to start, we are going to go into executive session now for the purpose of discussing personnel matters. We will be approximately 45 minutes, half hour. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Can I have the roll call, please?
Ms. Catamatori.
Yes.
Mr. Delator.
Yes.
Ms. Kana.
Yes.
Mr. Klupfel.
Yes.
Ms. McGurk.
Yes.
Ms. Norwood.
Yes.
Ms. Angley.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, it is now 7:55 and we are just coming back from executive session. Do I have a motion to resume the meeting? Motion. Second.
Who made the motion, Tom?
Yes.
Roll call.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Catamatori.
Yes.
Mr. Delator.
Yes.
Ms. Kana.
Yes.
Mr. Klupfel.
Yes.
Ms. McGurk.
Yes.
Ms. Norwood.
Yes.
Ms. Angley.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, now I'll turn the meeting over to Dr. Johnson.
Okay, this evening I have one item only to report out on. If you recall, a couple months ago, we reported out on the final HIB grades for the district. At this meeting, I am required to report out on the 2022-2023 self-assessment for the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights. And what I need to do is report out on the scores that our staff and our administration graded themselves at each of our schools. So for 2022-2023 self-assessments in each school, we have Hoboken High School recorded a score of 75 out of 78 for last school year. Those scores include everything from training associated with the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights to assembly programs for kids and different actions that are taken in the building associated with preventing HIB between and among students. Hoboken Middle School scored 75 out of 78. Joseph F. Brandt Elementary School scored 75 out of 78. The Connors Elementary School scored 74 out of 78, and Wallace Elementary School scored 75 out of 78. So in addition to what's on the website already in terms of the scores that I reported out a couple months ago, these scores will also be placed on the website as part of our self-assessment tool.
Great. Thank you. Next, we'll go into committee reports. Ms. Good, do you have a business administrator's report tonight?
I want to inform the board that the audit started today. The audit is scheduled to be completed by code December 3rd. If the government or Department of Education, because of the pension numbers not being available, moves the date of the submission, I will inform you. They are scheduled to be in the district until this week and all of next week.
Okay. Thank you. And we'll start with curriculum. Ms. McGurk.
Good evening. The Curriculum Committee met on Thursday, the 7th of September. In attendance were Ms. Catamatori, Mr. Delatorre, Mr. Klutful, Assistant Superintendent Rodriguez Gomez, and Superintendent Dr. Johnson. There are 3 items on the agenda tonight for curriculum, and we recommend all for board approval. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Facilities, Ms. Khanna.
Good evening. Facilities Committee met on Thursday, September 7th at 2 p.m. In attendance were Mr. Callaghy, Dr. Johnson, Ms. Catamatori, Ms. Norwood, and Mr. Klupfel. There is 1 facilities request for this month, and we recommend it for board approval, the Hoboken United Youth Soccer, as well as 13.01 fire and safety drill for July and August. One last note is the 4 Wallace bathrooms have been renovated and completed. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And Finance, Mr. Klupfel.
Thank you. The Finance Committee met on Wednesday, September 6th. Joining me were Ms. Angley, Ms. Norwood, Mr. Delatorre, Ms. Good, and Ms. Lopez. The committee did review the agenda items and recommend all for approval. Just 2 things I would like to just focus on just for a brief second. 11.10 is the corrective action plan for school nutrition plan. I just want to make it clear publicly that looking through the corrective action plan, that had nothing to do with the quality of the food or any health or hygiene issues. That it was the result of an audit by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which implements the National School Lunch Program, School Nutrition Program, and the findings were along the lines of some signage being posted consistently in our cafeterias about what constitutes a full meal, and a couple of other things having to do with the way meals were recorded and logged into the system, which are all, I don't want to make light of any of those, but it had nothing to do with any health or safety issues. Also, I just would like to acknowledge the acceptance of donations. Ms. Sherry Simpson, who I understand is a local author and screenwriter, successful, has donated a significant number of copies of her new book, Sugar Rush Racers, to our 3rd grade classes in our elementary schools. So we thank her for her support and contribution. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have a report tonight, but I'd like to welcome all of our teachers, staff, and students back from summer break. I hope everyone had a great summer and the school year is off to a good start. I would like to share my excitement about the K-12 spring musical that was just announced, which is Harry Potter. The Hoboken Public School District was selected to be the first school in North America to put on the show. And that brings us to public comments on agenda items. This is just a reminder before we open public comments. Over the years and most recently, the board has been asked why it does not prohibit or stop comments about school district employees from individuals who speak during the public comment portion of the meeting. The short answer is that the law prevents the board from censoring comments made about district personnel. The board does not condone, nor is the board a party to comments as such. However, just because a speaker may have the right to say what he or she feels, it does not absolve a speaker from liability for any defamatory comments that an employee may bring against the speaker. Should speakers say something that subjects them to a civil suit, the responsibility falls squarely on the speaker and not on the board. I'd also like to remind speakers of board policy. Please state your name, municipality of residence, and business affiliation, if any. Speakers are allowed 5 minutes, and we will quietly motion with 30 seconds left. And please address all comments to the chair. Board policy states that the board welcomes comments on matters of interest to the board, but this is not an opportunity for dialogue or debate between speakers and board members or the superintendent. Ms. Good?
Ms. Rivera?
Okay. So we will move on to consent agenda. Is there a motion?
Can I have a point of order before that? I think, could I just show a correction I think needs to be made to Ms. Good, please?
Sure.
I would just like the record to show in the minutes for the June meeting that 3 board members abstained in both votes with regards to the memorandum of understanding related to the HEA contract. And there was a reconsideration of the vote to correct the numbering, but that the 3 of us abstained in both rounds of the votes. If that change is made, then it would change my vote on the consent agenda.
Okay.
Okay. So on the minutes, resolution 10.46, final resolution, to be honest, I'll go over my notes. I don't do the minutes, but I will go over my notes. So.
I'm sure the video will be clear that the 3 of us
Right,
abstained.
yeah, and if, to be honest, I would pull it off, so I
Okay.
could,
That
I
would
would
be-
pull it off, so I
I'd
could
appreciate that. Thank
confirm
you.
this. So for the minutes, 10.46, I would like
Just
to.
gotta pull the June minutes.
June, what's
We'll
the-
pull the June minutes.
You're gonna pull the whole thing? Okay, so we'll pull these and they'll be tabled, so it has to be tabled. So, okay,
Thank
so
you.
I
I
need
appreciate that.
so I would need a resolution to table that.
Is that 6 point, is it June 15th?
I'm sorry.
Yes.
As it has not been moved yet, you don't need a resolution table as long as what you just said is with the pleasure of the chair.
Is it okay for me to review before, okay, so it'll be on for October?
Yes.
Okay,
So we pull 6 point.
so what's the number?
It's polled.
6.03.
6.03.
I
Okay.
appreciate the courtesy. I'm
No problem,
Thank you.
no problem. And I will review it, and actually what I will do is I will confirm tomorrow your statement, and I will send the email blind copy to the full board,
Thank you very much.
okay?
Okay. Let's see. So now that 6.03 has been pulled, do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Motion. Second.
Can we have the roll call, please?
Ms. Cadamatori?
Abstain on 13.2 and yes to the rest.
Mr. Delatorre? Ms. Khanna?
Abstain on 6.01, and yes for the rest.
Mr. Klupfel?
Yes.
Ms. McGurk?
Yes.
Ms. Dorwood?
Yes.
Ms. Angley?
Oh, I'm going to abstain on 6.01 and yes on the rest.
Motion passes. Yes?
Ms. Good, we're just thinking that it may be best for you to change the resolution, the language of 6.03 now, and then have us vote on it.
So let me just try to help here, because there's a concern that because you have a time limit when minutes need to be approved, that we should just remedy that this evening rather than hold it for another month. Is the only correction requested by Ms. Norwood that 3 folks abstained and the minutes as drafted don't reflect that?
That's correct.
Okay. And who were those 3 that abstained?
The 3 newly elected board members are legally required to abstain from voting on the HEA contract. And so we felt very strongly that myself, Mr. Delatorre, and Mr. Grana comply with our legal obligation and abstain. And it is very clear in my recollection that we abstained on both accounts.
Okay. Does any board member have a different recollection? Okay. So my respectful suggestion then, since there's obviously no dispute, is that those minutes be voted on as revised, which is to reflect the abstentions of those 3 board members on the collective bargaining agreements. Does anyone have any issue with that?
No.
No.
Okay, so then my suggestion, Madam Secretary, is that you call for a motion on the corrected version of those minutes.
No problem. Oh, I'm sorry. Motion to correct the correct the minutes.
She's calling for the motion.
To reflect the 3 abstentions. So minutes from tonight's meeting will make a footnote that those abstentions have been recognized. Is that okay?
I think it's, since this was technically not submitted to the board yet, right, it's not been placed on the table for action, that we simply ask for a motion to approve the minutes as revised, the revision being those 3 abstentions. So we don't need to do anything with tonight, we don't need any asterisks. It's as if you got them, literally handwritten out, revision,
Okay.
and we handed them out again.
I marked the changes for Ms. Good.
Yeah. I
Okay.
have. Okay.
So that I think, if I may, Madam President?
Yes, go ahead.
So my respectful suggestion is that a motion be made to approve the minutes of the June 13 meeting as revised.
Okay, respectfully responded to you, Mr. Gagliardi. We had the motion, we had the second, we had the vote on, so.
We pulled it up.
Yeah, but 6.03 was
You
pulled.
have to pull, so that means that if we had the motion, we had the second, we had the roll call, then that means the person who made the motion, the person who made the second would have to pull their first, in order for me to do it, so.
If that's what
You gotta
happened,
pull it back.
if that's what happened, the answer is yes. My understanding is that 6.03 was pulled, however, and so it's not been subject to board action.
Yeah. So you're gonna just vote on 6.03?
As revised.
Okay, so we'll do that.
Yes, Madam Secretary. So again, the motion that I'm inviting the chair to seek is a motion to approve 6.03, the minutes as revised.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
And when you're ready, roll call, please.
Ms. Cadamatore?
Yes.
Mr. Delatorre? Yes. Ms. Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Clufford?
Yes.
Ms. McGurk?
Yes.
Ms. Norwood?
Yes.
Ms. Angley?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, and now I will turn it over to Mr. Gagliardi.
Thank you, Madam President. In the executive session this evening, the board considered a grievance submitted through a collective bargaining agreement by one of its employees. I recommend that the board take action in connection with the grievance that it heard.
Madam Chair, I move to deny the appeal.
Is there a second?
Second.
Can we have the roll call, please?
Ms. Cadamatore?
Yes.
Mr. Delatorre?
Yes.
Ms. Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Clufford?
Yes.
Ms. McGurk?
Yes.
Ms. Norwood?
Yes.
Ms. Angley?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Now we'll move to comments on both agenda and non-agenda items.
Mr. Vera? Mr. Vera, you submitted your name to speak before the board in public? Are you're passing? Thank you.
Okay. That concludes our meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.